Dad said, "You're no longer our daughter." They took everything. 3 years later, they even declared me dead. I stood at the church doors, watching my own funeral. No entry, no words, just silence. But at the wedding, everything changed. I walked in, radiant, guests turned, secrets spilled, lies collapsed. The family that erased me stood exposed. Revenge delivered in style. "Don't twist it, Dad. You wanted her gone. You wanted all of us gone when we didn't fit your plan." Clara's voice cracked as she shouted. The living room was a storm. A glass slammed onto the table so hard water splashed across unpaid bills, soaking the edges. Mom pressed her hands to her face, her shoulders shaking. Dad's jaw was like stone, his voice low but sharp. "Watch your mouth, Clara." Jonah leaned against the wall, smirking. He liked chaos when it wasn't on him. I stood at the edge of it all, near the doorway. My hands were steady, but inside my chest burned. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just watched. And then Jonah's smirk shifted into a sneer. He pointed at me. "This all started because of him. Don't act like you don't know." All eyes turned toward me. "My name is Ethan Hale. I'm 26. I've been the quiet one since I was a kid. The one no one defended, the one they blamed when they needed a villain, the one they ignored when they wanted silence. I learned early, quiet keeps things from exploding. If I didn't fight back, maybe the storm would pass. Maybe they'd forget me for a while. But silence is heavy. It sticks to your chest. And after years, it feels like it owns you. They think they know me. They think I'll never speak. What they don't know is that I've been holding something I've kept locked deep inside. A truth that, once spoken, would split everything wide open." Family members introduced Dad, Martin Hale, 58. He's a man whose voice fills every room, even when he's whispering. People in town respect him, but at home, every word is a weapon. Mom, Lydia, 55. Gentle on the outside, but her gentleness has always been her escape. She cries instead of choosing sides, as if her tears could erase what she refuses to confront. Clara, my older sister, 28. She speaks fast like she's in court, like she can argue her way out of every trap. She's sharp, but also brittle, hiding fear behind volume. Jonah, my older brother, 30, smirks instead of smiles. He dismisses people with a wave of his hand like nothing is ever his fault. He sides with Dad most days, but really he just sides with power. They're the same people I grew up with, but tonight, as voices ricochet off the walls, they feel like strangers in the house I used to call home. And me? I'm still the shadow in the corner, but not for long. Property doesn't just disappear, Martin. You signed it away. Clara's voice echoed as she waved a stack of papers. Dad snatched them from her, threw them to the floor, and snapped, "I did what I had to. Don't question me." Jonah laughed, leaning forward. "We all know who's been dragging this family down, who's been living off scraps while the rest of us carry weight." His eyes locked onto mine. "You know who I mean." I didn't move, didn't blink. Inside, I thought, I've seen this before. The lies, the cover-ups, they've always played this game. Act strong, act clean, and hope no one looks deeper. And then, in the middle of it, Mom spoke. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut through. "It wasn't yours to take, Martin. You promised him." The room froze. Promised me? Everyone started talking at once. Clara pressed harder, Jonah pushed back, Mom begged them to stop. Dad raised his voice above them all. "He was never supposed to have anything. Never. He doesn't deserve it." His words didn't stab. They confirmed. This wasn't new. It was just the first time he said it so openly. I let the silence sit for a moment, then I spoke, calm and clear. "You're afraid of me. That's why you erased me." The room went still. No shouts, no interruptions. For the first time in years, they were quiet. Not out of respect, but because the fear in my words felt real, and I saw it in their faces. They didn't know what I might say next. 3 years ago, I stood in the same house. but it wasn't mine anymore. Dad's voice cut like a blade. "You're no longer our son. Leave. Don't come back." They stripped me of everything. My room emptied, my clothes dumped in trash bags. My name crossed out of family records. On paper, I stopped existing. Weeks later, I heard whispers in town. They told people I was gone. Some even believed I had died. And then one Sunday, I stood outside the church, watching my own funeral. Through the tall wooden doors, I heard the organ playing. I smelled lilies carried past me. Inside, they cried, they prayed, they mourned, yet none of it was for me. I stood frozen, my hands trembling in the cold. And I'll never forget the moment Clara looked at the door. Her eyes landed on me, and then, just as quickly, she looked away. Back in the living room, Clara's voice broke through. "You ruined him! You ruined Ethan for nothing!" Jonah slammed his hand on the wall. "Don't you dare blame me for this! Don't!" I stepped forward, my voice steady. "You all want the truth? Dad didn't lose the inheritance, he stole it, and Jonah helped him." The air snapped like a wire pulled too tight. Mom's hands flew to her mouth, her tears spilling harder. Clara stared at Dad like she'd just seen him for the first time. And me? I didn't shout. I didn't rage. I spoke softer. "And I've known this all along. I've carried it. I've waited. Tonight was the moment." Their faces broke apart in shock. The house turned into chaos. Dad roared denials. Jonah cursed, his voice shaking for the first time. Clara shouted questions no one would answer. The walls themselves felt thinner, like the house couldn't hold the weight of everything spilling out. I didn't join the shouting. I stood calm in the eye of the storm. And when they paused for breath, I said the line I had kept in my chest for years. "I gave you all my silence. Tonight, I give you the truth." But then something I didn't expect. Mom turned on me. "Why now? Why didn't you let it stay buried?" Her voice wasn't just sad, it was angry. And that betrayal, hers, cut deeper than any lie Dad or Jonah had ever spoken. I didn't slam the door. I didn't storm out. I walked slow, my shoes against the wooden floor echoing like a drum beat. At the doorway, Clara caught my arm. Her grip was weak, but desperate. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I should have stood by you before. I was scared." I looked at her, my voice quiet. "You were there at the church. You saw me." Her eyes filled. She couldn't answer. I nodded once and let go. No anger left, only release. They'll never see me the same again. And I don't need them to. Still, deep inside, I knew. This wasn't the end. My story with them had more chapters. Revenge doesn't always roar. Sometimes it waits like smoke under the floorboards. Days passed. The silence outside their house was different from the silence I used to carry. It was lighter. Clara called me. Her voice trembled. She wanted to fix things. She wanted to build something again, even if broken. Jonah never called. Dad pretended like nothing happened, walking through town with his proud shoulders. Mom stayed in her tears, avoiding me, pretending her hands were clean. But I wasn't drowning anymore. I was breathing. I was living. For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore, I told myself one night, staring at the stars above the quiet street. The pain wasn't gone. It probably never would be. But it wasn't chained to me anymore. And in the cracks they left behind, maybe, just maybe, something new could grow. If you were in my place, would you forgive them? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one. If Ethan's pain and strength touched you, hit like and share your own story in the comments, because sometimes the only way to heal is to finally speak.